Hello everyone, my name is Songbird21. This video will show you how to start your first project in Premiere Elements 11 and how to use a few basic editing techniques. The first thing we want to do is check on the size of our footage. Right click on it and click Properties. Then you're going to click Details. It will tell you your frame width, in this case it's 1280, and your frame height is 720, and your frames per second. This says 10 frames per second, but because I want to show you 24 frames a second, that's what I'm going to do. Normally you want your frame rate in your project and your frame rate in your footage to match. When you first start a new project, this is the screen you're going to see for Premiere Elements 11. First thing you're going to do is click File, New, Project. I'm just going to leave it My Project. Now we're going to go down to Change Settings. Usually what you're going to be working in is this area under AVCHD. And the reason this is important is because it has what is called progressive scan. Progressive scan is nice, smooth video. Unlike something that has fields or interlacing, which I'll explain a little further about in another video, anything with interlacing, you get these horrible little lines all over it. So yeah, you definitely want to pick something that has progressive scan. And you're going to choose whatever has the same frame rate and same frame height and width as your actual footage. Now, like I said, my current footage is 10 frames a second, but I'm choosing 24 because I want to show you 24. So this is 1280 by 720, so that is correct. Now we click OK, and we click OK. So now we have our new project. Now you're thinking, where's my footage been? Well, it has now been renamed to Project Assets. It is up here. I prefer to look at it in List View. So now we're going to go back in here and we are going to get our footage. And I'm just going to import 2 pieces. Well, actually, let's make it 3. So now we have 3 pieces of footage in here. Now, when you first look at your timeline here, you're going to see that you have a bunch of video and audio tracks. You really only need a few. So what I'm going to do is right click on here and click Delete Empty Tracks. That gets rid of everything you don't need. If you do need more later, you can right click here, Add Tracks, and you're going to choose the number of tracks you want to add and where you want to add them, before or after the last track. So we're going to add 1 video track and no audio tracks. And there we go. We have 2 video tracks. You always want to expand your video tracks when they're not expanded. They're like that because it makes it easier to see your footage. Now the next thing you want to do, especially if you're doing something that requires frame by frame work, you want to zoom in. So you're zooming in this here so that you're working frame by frame. And the best way to tell if your timeline is on frame by frame is if you push the arrow key on your keyboard and it goes in succession to each little white line on the board. So now you're seeing in frame by frame. And for making precise cuts, frame by frame is extremely important. Alright, so now you're going to drop your first piece of footage onto the line. So we have this here. Okay, and I'm just only going to be using a little bit of it, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And then we have here our second piece of footage. Now, if your footage is connected to your audio, you can unlink them just by right-clicking on it and click Unlink Audio and Video. I always prefer to do this. And then you're going to click over somewhere in the blank area here so it deselects it. And then you can select each one individually. So I'm just going to delete the audio at the moment because I really don't need it. If you don't have anything behind your footage that you already have down, you can just delete audio. But you only want to do that if you don't have any cuts that could get screwed up, and I'll explain why they might get screwed up in a moment. So I got rid of my audio because I really don't need it. And let's do this. Okay, the first thing I am going to show you is how to make a cut. So if you look on your little video line thing here, you'll see this little scissor icon. Any piece of footage that is selected when it's highlighted like this, if you click that, it will split the clip into 2 different pieces, just like that. Now, I'm going to click Control Z to undo, or you can just click undo up here, but I find that rather tedious. Now, this is what I meant about your footage getting messed up if you just delete the audio without separating it from the video first. If you have multiple pieces of footage, and let's move this one up here just for the heck of it. We'll do that. Now say I want to get rid of this piece of footage. Now, if I just push delete on my keyboard, it will do what's called a ripple delete, which means everything to the right of it will move over as far as the length of the piece you deleted. Most of the time you don't want that. So what you want to do, let's undo that, you want to click, so your piece is highlighted, right click, and then click delete. I know it seems like the same thing, but it isn't, because as you can see, the footage did not ripple delete, and all the edits you have made over here are safe. So let's bring that piece back, and the next thing we want to do is I want to show you how to trim a clip. So when you move your cursor over the end of a piece of footage, it will turn into this little red line that's a bracket with two little arrows. And the bracket will face whichever one is going to be selected when you click. So now if you click and hold it and drag it to resize your clip length, everything will ripple delete. But if you hold down the control key, see how the bracket gets smaller and the arrows on it get smaller? If I could just get it to do that without, there we go, now you can see it. Okay, so you hold it down so that the arrows in the bracket are smaller, then you drag it, and it won't ripple delete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. More will be coming, and have a great day. Bye!